Alright, so today's review is going to be on Arcane Season 1. I just binge watched Arcane Season 1 and then rolled that right into watching Arcane Season 2. I had seen Arcane Season 1 before. I was generally a fan of it then. I'm a lot bigger of a fan of it now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so the plot, give it a 9 too. The plot of this show is, look, it's a simple plot. It's not a very revolutionary one. Well, it is, but in a different way, in a little punny way. Look, it's a simple plot, but it is very well executed. It takes small things that shouldn't mean a lot, and it makes them mean a lot. And just it feels like a serious show. It's an animated show for those who don't know. I'd assume most know, probably not only from having seen the show, but having seen the thumbnail. Um, yeah, but it's a very serious show. It takes small things. It doesn't make them small. It makes small things big, and it kind of like is a domino effect type show. And I really like when a show shows attention to detail to stuff like that, where it's like little things can have huge ripple effects. This show does it perfectly. This show, I've got a lot of very positive things to say about this show. The show is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. But yeah, the plot, it's a simple plot, but it's a very good one. I guess is the quick way I could wrap that up. All right, so dialogue. Now, dialogue is probably its worst category at a 8.7. I think it literally is the worst category at 8.7. Again, just because it's its worst category does not mean it's bad. 8.7 is better than most of the reviews I have up here for most of these shows. So it's got a good dialogue. Good dialogue. It's got good writing. The dialogue is good. The characters, they you just don't find them saying things that feel corny, cringy, or just strictly to push the plot forward. The show does a good job of not kind of holding your hand and walking you through the plot. It does a good job of just talking, and you'll figure it out along the way. Yeah, so props to the dialogue. They've got some pretty memorable quotes through the show, and it feels like every scene is meaningful because it feels like the characters are actually saying something that has some substance to it. There's a lot of shows out there that you could honestly not pay attention during half of them, and you'd probably still get the story just by watching it. This is a show that you definitely need to listen to it too. I know it's a very silly way to put it because you should be watching and listening to all shows, but this is a show that really you kind of need to listen line by line, and I think it helps you enjoy it a lot more when you do that. All right, so then we got the voice acting because it is an animated show, so there is no acting; it's voice acting. Um, the voice acting is great. The voice acting is really, really good. Pretty much every character, has a distinct sound to them. Very, I don't want to say like enjoyable because that sounds a little weird, but yeah, it's they've got their own way of talking, and it kind of creates some separation between the character types. You might have a character that is similar as far as their beliefs or similar as far as the way that they act in the show, but they've all got their own sort of vibe and feel to them, and the emotional moments of the show kick pretty hard, and that is, I mean, it's done because it's done well. What am I saying? I gotta slow this down. I did like 5 reviews today, and I'm just kind of going fast. Um, yeah, but I just think the voice acting was really good. I feel like they did a good job of portraying emotion, creating their own kind of unique character. It doesn't not only does it not feel like a character in this show, but it doesn't feel like another character in any other show. So they did a really good job with Vi, Jinx, Vander, Silco, Jace, Mel, Heimerdinger, and then trying to think Echo too. I mean, all of them, great job. Uh, I'm sure there's even some I'm forgetting on top of that. But yeah, that's about as much as I can say about the voice acting. Really, really good job. All right, so then we move on to cinematography. Cinematography is a 9.8. Now, 9.8 outside of Arcane, 9.8 is the second highest visuals I have given anything. The highest is Dune. I think I still stand by that. I'm pretty sure I still stand by that. But it would look if I put Arcane over Dune, I wouldn't have a problem viewing it that way. Dune is very great visually. Arcane is like stunning. Arcane is it's in that Spider Verse tier. I actually haven't rated the Spider Verse movies up here yet, but when I do, they're gonna be in this Arcane Dune tier, which is top of the top. It's a stunning visual show. Every fight scene is very interesting visually. Even the emotional like montages, which I'll get into with the soundtrack here. Kind of actually yeah, getting some random text messages. I don't know why. Yeah, but great job visually. The opening intro is even stunning too. So they killed it everywhere with the show visually. And then you move on to the soundtrack at a 9.4. So the soundtrack of the show is nothing short of like maybe one of the best TV show soundtracks I've ever heard. I've got it. So I'm looking at my ratings here. I've got it fourth all time between movies and shows. Dune, number 1 at a 10. Avatar season 1 through 3. That's Avatar: The Last Airbender, 9.6. Invincible season 2 at 9.5. I'm gonna bump this up higher. I'm going to change this. I believe it is a 9.6. I believe it is that high up there. The music really makes the show what it is. Let me go ahead and change that over here too. Just because when I'm looking at my other ratings, it's definitely as good as Avatar, I think, and I think it's better than Invincible. Maybe I went a little crazy on Dune. I mean, I know what Dune soundtrack is amazing, but a 10, I gotta rewatch those movies. Yeah, but yeah, so 9.6 for the soundtrack. Every montage hits extremely hard. Not only visually, but with the music that they're playing. They always seem to pick the right song, and a lot of these songs, if not all of them, are original for the show. So it's an original, hard-hitting soundtrack. You can't get any better than that. Like that's what the best soundtracks are, is original, hard-hitting soundtracks, and that's what the show did. They did it perfectly. The montages are some of the best TV I've seen in the past decade, quite frankly. Yeah, especially the one at the end of the season. That one is phenomenal. All right, so then we move on to the bonus categories. The world building, I gave it a 9 in season 1. They did a really good job of kind of in 8, I think it's 9 episodes. In 9 episodes, 9 30 to 40-minute episodes, they completely introduce you to this world, and it's not even the whole world. It's just this one, like, I guess, country or city in it, and they did a phenomenal job with that, and also introducing you into the new characters and into. I don't know what's going on. I'm having a hard time speaking today or something. Yeah, but anyway, they did a really good job of introducing you into the characters. So the characters now, 9. Now I think I actually rate a lot of shows and movies actually pretty high for characters, because it's what sells, tickets. It's what gets you to watch it, is the character. So it makes sense that a lot of these are higher. But I think a 9 for Arcane is really good. To me, I remember after the first time I was done watching Arcane, I was a little like, I don't know, not like overwhelmed by the amount of characters, but I didn't really I didn't understand everything that was going on like I do now. Now after the second season is coming out, has come out. What is going on? Yeah, but I think the characters in this are great, and they get even better in season 2. Action 9.6. The action is phenomenal. Action, as far as the action category goes, this is the best. This is the best action I've seen in any show. Until Arcane season 2, which gets a higher rating. But yeah, 9.6, great action. I mean, look, there's not a lot you can't say is great about Arcane. And then you have, for the detail category, I give it a 9.1. I think they put in tremendous amounts of detail into the animation, into the sound design, into the story. It's just detail everywhere. and I'm a really big fan of it. So now we get to the final rating. The final rating is a 9.2. This show is phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's some of the best 18 episodes of television I've watched. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't really into animated things, and a lot of people, might not. It might not be, I guess, in your comfort zone. It should be though, because it's a phenomenal show, phenomenal story, great visuals, great soundtrack, great fights, great detail. Like, it's just everything you want from a show. To be honest, it if I had to compare it to a type of show, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, where it does everything well. And you don't really find that happening too often with shows. To be honest, it doesn't really happen. So yeah, really a big fan of Arcane season 1, and the Arcane season 2 review should be up after this one. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys agree with me, if you disagree, whatever. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and peace.